All right, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. We're going to try this multiple times. Thanks for being patient. We're not worried. Hey, Josh, so if you can see me, we had a little, oh, is it yes? Okay. Close tip. Sorry, guys. I don't use this technology very often. Oh, great. Okay. So I had to
Hey.
log out, log back in. Josh,
Can you hear me
hey,
and see me okay?
on? Yeah, I can hear you. Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
awesome. Yeah, cool.
Oh, technology.
I know. I mean, I was late to the party anyway, so.
No. I jumped on and I knew you would join at some point, and I was, saying hello, and people were like, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. And I'm
Oh
like,
no, okay.
what is going on? Anyways, hey, thanks for joining.
Yeah, hey Courtney.
So I was
I'm really
just
excited to be on the channel.
yeah, totally. So I was just saying, but quietly because no one could hear me, that tonight I was actually supposed to chat with Laura Von V.
Mm-hmm.
She is not feeling well. And so this afternoon she sent me a message. And I thought, well, I already told people I was going live. Who can I think of that I want to go live with? And the reason I hit you up was because I watched your video this morning, and it actually sparked some questions.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I hope you're okay with some questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
honestly, when you reached out to me, I was like super happy. I was like, okay, I kind of need someone to talk to.
yes. And you just got off of a live, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So.
Okay. And that was good?
Yeah. It was good. It was good.
Okay. So I know it's late on your side of the country. So thanks for last minute joining. But so if you guys are not familiar, Josh, who is on the screen, also known as a lot of Josh, was probably one of my favorite resellers I found on YouTube. I don't know, probably 6 months ago. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd say it might have been longer. It's hard to keep track of time, but
I know.
I don't know. I feel like I've been watching your channel for a lot longer than that.
I don't know the exact date, but I know that ever since I found your channel, I was just like, I feel like there are a lot of similarities between us in a lot of just our business perspective and just our analytical side. And so when I found your channel, I was like, I just want this guy known. I want people to know him and hear his way of thinking. And we obviously have chatted multiple times. You did the box swap. We've connected through a variety of things, but I saw your video this morning. So if you guys aren't familiar, he has a channel and a business around a lot of Josh. But this morning he put out a video around, does he want to continue being a full-time reseller? And this is something that I have been stewing on for probably maybe the whole time I've been a full-time reseller, but a lot the last few months. And so when I saw your video, there were a lot of questions. There was just a lot of, I think, similarities just with kind of how we were feeling. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to see everyone in the chat. I know that we know some people that are the same, but we also kind of have different business models. So you might not know everyone. So if you guys don't know a lot of Josh, go follow him on YouTube. He's awesome. And he just puts out a lot of great content. So first up, tell us briefly what your video was about this morning.
Yeah, so a lot on my channel, I do a lot of what's sold videos, a lot of sourcing videos. I think my garage sale ride-alongs and my thrift store ride-alongs are where the majority of my audience, through those videos, a lot of them found my channel. So I guess a heart-to-heart type of just turning on the camera and talking is it's not something I do typically, but I mean, there's just, as everyone probably knows already, there's just a lot of chaos and craziness going on, a lot of mixed reactions, and just
just for everyone watching, we won't say that one word or any word that's related to what's going on in the news, because your video might get no money. But, so anyway,
hopefully it doesn't slip as I'm talking. But yeah, I mean, so for those of you who don't know much about me, I'm a full-time reseller. I haven't been full-time for a long time though, so it's been about 6 months. I started full-time reselling last October, so right at the start of Q4. So like my initial, my first quarter Q4 as a full-time reseller was pretty good. I was like, okay, like this is going well. I mean, even like the start of Q1 has been pretty good, but I don't know, just there's just a lot of ups and downs, and it's something that I've heard of. Going into it, it was an expectation, just because I've heard so many other people say it. But hearing something and actually going through and experiencing the ups and downs is it's a completely different kind of feeling. The emotional roller coaster, like actually going through it, is harder than hearing for it and telling yourself like, oh, like I'll be good.
So you basically hit a point where you've had enough ups and downs, and then with the current situation that's going on, there's a lot of us assuming there's going to be kind of a downhill trajectory.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of nerves and anxiety and just kind of unknown. So you made a video this morning, and I guess I'll just kind of explain why it was important for me to see. You may not have been reselling for a long time, but you do have a really, and I know you actually pulled up your LinkedIn profile on this video.
Yeah.
You actually have a pretty solid resume. Now, I think in that video you said you didn't feel like you did because you don't have like specifically corporate experience. However, you are a West Point grad. You served and had multiple positions, which I found it interesting that you were breaking down the different positions that you held at the military and kind of different roles that you thought you could kind of apply that to in the corporate world. But so the reason it stood out to me was I've been stewing on, I feel like the reason I'm a full-time reseller is partly because of where I live. So I actually left the corporate world. I have lots of experience. I have a padded resume. I was making great money. And the reason I decided to go full-time and pretty quickly was because I live an hour away from any city. And so any place that I can get a job that's not remote is an hour away. And that commute is just pretty terrible. So
yeah, especially with LA traffic.
Yeah. And I mean, there's like multiple cities, and there are jobs that are remote, and I'm very familiar with kind of how to get those in kind of the tech space. But I guess the last few months, and why I wanted to chat with you was the last few months I've been sitting there thinking, instead of being a reseller part-time and having that as like a side hustle, what about having it as the in-between job? So I think one of the things I've been thinking about is doing 1, 2, 3 month contract jobs where I'm hired in my field. I'm hired in a corporate entity. And I can kind of do that for a chunk of time, but still have reselling, and then go back to reselling full time kind of in between, so that I get my people exposure, I get my resume building, I get my people interaction in the corporate world. So I guess that's my first question to you is have you thought about doing something like that, where you kind of do the opposite of the reselling as the side hustle, but more the corporate job as the side hustle, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I mean, reselling is one of those things, like I like absolutely love reselling. That's like no questions about it. I think in today's video, I talked a little bit about like trying to find things that you're passionate for. Like it's not easy to find a hobby or find some kind of activity, that you're extremely passionate about. That is just like one of those hard to explain types of passion for. So I can see myself reselling, full time, part time, every other week here and there, whatever extent I resell. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna do it until the day I die, pretty much. Like, at just like some kind of way, reselling is gonna be part of my life. Whether I do it full time forever. I mean, I've definitely thought about a few of the things and options that you've talked about. Like, should I get a part-time job and resell, still full-time hours, but have, that little bit of money coming in consistently? Should I find something that's like part-time and do part-time, like split it down the middle? I mean, I've thought about, a lot of different options like that. I've also thought about like, am I going to be like the title of your stream? Like, do I see myself as a full-time reseller forever? Or is it going to be, I think the biggest appeal for reselling full-time for me is the lifestyle that comes with it, in terms of, working for yourself, being your own boss. I think it takes, certain levels of like discipline to keep yourself on track since you are your own boss. Like, you have to act like a boss, but you also have to work like an employee. So you have to find like a good balance between the two, and still not burn yourself out, because I think it's very easy to do that, if you are working for yourself. But I've asked myself, like, is this a foundation for a bigger business venture? Like, there's just, I don't know, there's just so many different things that could happen.
So one of the things that stood out to me on your video this morning, and if someone just goes to a lot of Josh, it's the video that went out this morning. I'm sorry I can't link it at the moment, and we will get to chat soon. So if you guys have any questions or want to chat with us, we're just gonna start here. But one of the things you said to me was that you had heard from some people who had been resellers for quite some time that they were not hireable in their current state. So basically, from what I took away from that was they had been reselling for so long that no company or no job would really want to hire them in their current status. And that was a concern for you because you don't want that taken away from you. You want to have a house, you want to own a home, you want to have kids, you want all those things, and losing the ability to get a regular job is concerning. So can you go into that? Because I don't know if I agree.
Yeah. I think I could clarify that a little bit. I think there's a lot. I think the biggest thing with like job interviews and resumes, it's all about how you portray your experiences. I think the biggest thing for me when I was transitioning out of the military, it was like a lot of military terminology, like just a normal person that you grab off the street, they would not understand it. We use so many different acronyms and just terms that a normal person just has no reason to know about. So I think the biggest thing was translating my military experience to, I guess, like corporate business terms that, just a normal HR person would be able to understand. And I think that, that applies for, like reselling community. Like we have, little terms here and there, like BOLO. If you say BOLO to a reseller, like, you don't have to explain it to them. But if you tell just a random person off the street, like I've made like 50 videos, teaching 100 BOLOs to, hundreds and thousands of people online. They would have no idea what that means. I think the biggest thing is just taking your experiences and, translating them for whoever that you're trying to give your resume or whatever to. I think the biggest thing, when people say I'm unemployable, I think that's more of like a personal thing. I think the longer you work for yourself, it's harder to work for someone else, just because the lifestyle, it's just two like completely different things.
Okay, so you nailed it on answering that, because I guess when I heard it, I was thinking like maybe they were working for themselves too long to where their skills and everything they had done reselling couldn't be applied. And what you're talking about is kind of how do you translate this job and put it on a resume or put it on a cover letter and translate it to a job in a different field that's similar, which is a skill to be able to do. But yeah, so okay, so that makes a lot of sense. That was like the one thing you said, and I was like, wait, is he suggesting that none of us are rehireable if we stay as a reseller? And you just nailed it.
Okay. I think when I was like rewatching it, I think the way, so there was like a clip where I put up on like my LinkedIn profile, and then it was like, is this your current position? And then you could put in a new position. And I just typed in like a bunch of question marks. I don't know if that was like what confused people, but
got it. So I titled this video something similar to yours. And also, guys, if you guys are leaving any questions, comments, I'm hoping everyone chats with each other. We are going to get to any questions in a little bit. So thanks for joining. It looks like there's quite a few people. So I guess to answer the question that I put on this video, because I hate when things like that aren't addressed.
Yeah.
I have been stewing for a few months personally of I have a business strategy, marketing, sales background, and I have corporate experience, startup technology experience. And when I became a reseller, it was a side hustle. It was just a fun thing on the side to do. But then I realized my commute, which was about 3 hours each day, was terrible. And I saw a lot of people on YouTube who gave me the impression that it was not only possible, but like a good life to be a full-time reseller. And I think that's something you kind of brushed on in your video today, Josh, was kind of like, okay, you can have the Ferrari. I don't know what car you use, but you can have the luxury sports car. You can have that life. And there are people that do that reselling, but is it really achievable and at what cost? And so for me, it's like, yes, I love the flexibility. I can just drop everything and do anything I want. At the same time, I have to have a lot of self-discipline. I do have to say no to friends at times and say I have to go home and work.
Mm-hmm.
I do work odd hours because I'm kind of always working. And at a time like this, it's very questionable about like, what is something like what's going on with the world? How is that going to affect reselling? And why did I take a huge pay cut if I don't see an upward slope or upward momentum of income? And so I think for you, you were using the homeowner kids perspective. For me, it's like I have home projects and I'd like to travel again someday and, you know, do some of the stuff I absolutely love. So I think one of the things I've been thinking about is, should I just go and put myself out on the market for a work from home, you know, remote work for a technology company that's only a 2-month gig? And I still do my YouTube channel. I still do my reselling. I still get my listings up every day. But I also have the full-time job, but for a temporary period of time. And I don't know, to be honest, to answer the question, I actually don't know. And I don't think really any of us know what's in our future. But I know that one thing, Josh, you have, and you have a really great degree and you have a really good common sense, and you've built something in a very short period of time. So your channel is something that's marketable on your resume. Your actual business, reselling business, is something that's marketable. So I think that we both have something that can be highlighted on a resume and a cover letter.
Yeah.
But it's just does it feel like to you that you're giving up if you try something different?
I feel like, especially with the YouTube channel, like, so I've had a YouTube channel for about 1.5 years now, I want to say, and I started it while I was doing this part-time. And for 6 months straight, leading to when I finally went full-time, like my entire content was focused around the theme of like building up my business to transition from part-time to full-time. And especially like the people that have been watching me from back then, I think I would feel a little bit like I let people down. I think that's like for like just, you know, thinking back to just like the experiences I've been through, like going through like basic training in the military. Like on the worst days, something that kept me going is like I can't go home and tell my parents that I quit. Like that was something, I don't know if it was something that like I grew up with, that was ingrained in me, but that was like one of the things, like on the worst days at basic training, I was like, I can't go home and tell everyone that I quit. So that was like something that kept me going. Another thing was just like the community aspect that you build in the military, like the we're all in this together kind of mentality. So that is something that I've taken from the military as well. And just having this YouTube channel has been like, it's been a blessing to me, because I've met so many people. Just like after today's video, I was definitely a little bit down when I woke up this morning, and I just turned on the camera and started talking, and so many people have reached out to me. And I mean, just the amount of like love in this community, it's like kind of overwhelming sometimes. Like I just put out a video and people, I mean, they could have just watched and moved on with their life. But the fact that, you know, just like a simple, like short sentence, you know, even the comment section, there's just like so much support. So I think just the community aspect, I don't know. It's hard to, I guess it's hard to explain, but It's like it was kind of overwhelming to get kind of like that kind of reaction.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's where my mindset goes from, like, not leaving reselling, not even saying you're not a full-time reseller, but more or less just taking on some other projects or taking on some other things to see where it leads and see where it goes, especially at uncertain times. But I would agree that the comments, the community, I don't know what it's like in the military, but I do know what it's like in the reselling community. And it's amazing how quickly people can react to when they sense that you're down or you're, and I think right now, and we won't really, Josh is louder than Courtney sounds. Sorry, guys.
Oh, am I? Maybe it's I'll try to put my mic away.
Yeah, he's got a fancy mic, guys. So some of us are working with like very little technology.
Maybe that'll balance it a little better.
Becky Park in the house. Hey,
guys. How's it going, Becky?
So we're gonna get to comments in a second, but yeah, mostly this is just an opportunity to obviously chat with people that I watch a lot of their content. I've connected with multiple times, but I don't actually think we've chatted face to face.
I don't think so. Outside of just like random messages here and there, it's been, I don't think, not like this at least.
So, so you said in your video this morning that you were, obviously you're paying your bills, you're putting a little aside for savings and all that stuff, without addressing the word or any words that's going to get this video not liked by YouTube. How are you feeling right now? And what, because I don't want to say to people like speculation of where I think things are going, right? Because I don't know, and I don't think really anyone knows, and I wouldn't watch anyone that makes any statements of what they think is going to happen. But how are you feeling in general? Just your family and your thoughts and just vibes.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of craziness going on. A lot of very opinionated statements out there as well, on both sides. And I think I've always been the kind of person to, not be super extreme about something. I think, it's definitely not something to ignore, but not something worth panicking over. But it's just hard to say. I've never seen something like this where like there's just mass cancellations of literally like my county is a pretty big hotspot right now, like North Jersey. And on Monday, the county, they put a curfew, which is kind of like unheard of. It's crazy. So from like 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., you're not allowed to be outside. I don't know moving forward, like how heavily enforced that's going to be, but that was the statement that the county put out. Pretty much, I mean, this is happening like to a lot of cities and places too, but I mean, my county is essentially shut down except for whatever was deemed essential by the county. So like the post office is open, grocery stores, restaurants, they can still do like delivery, but a lot of places it's just, I mean, people are just staying home and the streets are empty. So it's just weird. It's just something that I've never seen before.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of had some sort of training around kind of uncertainty and stress and kind of what something like this could do. And by the way, if I get a cough, like
I know, like everyone's gonna look at you like, oh Lord.
But yeah, so I mean, you kind of have some training or some knowledge on how to handle stressful situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any tips that you would say, like, this is what helps me get through something like this? Or
as bad as it sounds, like, I think for me, it was just like separating yourself from like the reality of the situation and approaching it more as like a problem set. Like if you were to take like an exam in college, like a math problem or something, trying to remove yourself and just not getting emotionally attached. It's really hard. Like in the military, like you don't ever want to send someone on a suicide mission, but you have to incite a little bit of risk to, successfully carry out, the mission here and there, depending on the situation. So I think like what the what people are doing right now. They're throwing all these policies in place for like the betterment of society, but it's impossible to get it 100% right. And the big thing that the military teaches you, there's no such thing as a perfect solution. Like a 70% solution executed like well is better than 100% perfect solution that's never executed at all. So I think just reacting quickly is, that's like it's good enough to pass. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to pass, but you're acting and reacting. I think that's like the best approach to something like this, where it's obviously a really big deal, and it's something that people have never dealt with before, so people don't know what the solution is. But the fact that I feel like now, like recently within the past week, the governments, local and federal have been doing a good job, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it. There is no perfect situation. There is no perfect solution. I think, it's a hard time for everyone. I think that's the only comforting thing is I feel like I'm actually more connected. Like, I know that you and I tried to schedule a live. I think I asked you a couple months ago or a month ago. And I'm just not a big live person. But then instantly when this happened, I was like, all I want to do is get on lives with some of my like reseller friends and family. And so I think that it does have a positive for me. I feel like I'm connecting more with people that maybe I would have just waited on. So
yeah,
I don't know. But all right. So do you want to check out and see if there's anything in the chat that seems interesting? I know chatting. Hey,
and I do like a weekly live stream on Thursdays, and after doing it for so long, I'm still so bad at keeping up with the chat. It's just something that I've never figured out.
I know. Well, it just starts flying, and then you just can't ever catch up. But if you guys have any questions for Josh, myself, both of us, this is just kind of a good way to kind of connect. I see there's 181 people. So hello, everyone.
Oh, wow.
Hit the thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this live and just kind of being part of the community on more of a live kind of way. And if you guys have any questions or comments, that's kind of what we're here for. And if you guys don't know, a lot of Josh, aka Josh, who's on the screen, he has a YouTube channel. He is a West Point graduate. He left the military about 6 months ago to become a full-time reseller. And he's one of the more impressive people on YouTube that I've watched and continue to follow. And so I'm just, yeah. Hey, Lori.
You're being way too kind to me right now.
I know. But I just had to get it at least, once in the live stream.
Yeah. And honestly, when you reached out to me like last minute today, like I couldn't have been any more happier. Like I would have there's like a few people on YouTube that I consider like I don't know, I guess like real life friends, even though we haven't met in real life, just because we've been talking back and forth and like bouncing ideas off each other for so long. I just feel like I've known you for a long time, so I feel like this is overdue.
Yeah, I agree. I think you and I both talked to Amber. She's going to be on the live Friday, so I don't know what you're doing Friday, but you should come hang out with us if you want. But I would agree. There's a group of people on YouTube that I watch that I'm just like, and I chat with, and I'm just like, I know we haven't met, but I feel like we've had dinner and drinks and had
right?
all these like fun experiences and all of that stuff. So let's see. Barbara just put something. Courtney, you should shop for Josh. And Josh, oh no, it just scrolled away. Let me scroll back. And Josh should shop for you, and you send each other a box and open it live. So Barbara, I think we need a lot of fun right now. And if I could be doing the box swaps right now, I totally would. I think it was a lot of fun to do, and it was a lot of fun to watch and be a part of. I just don't know if I want to spend money on shipping at the moment.
I know.
And we can't really go thrifting at the moment. So, I guess we could like send each other a box of stuff from our own house.
Yeah, like do like a death pile swap.
Yeah. So what's your situation with your death pile, speaking of?
So I actually did like a couple of like bulk purchases like right before all this craziness happened. So I have a decent death pile, but even just like within the past week, I know that the death pile is not going to last me like more than a couple of months. So I mean, this like whole thing is just throwing me off my game, because I mean, just sourcing is such a big part of my time. As a full-time reseller, I spent I feel like I've been spending a lot of time just driving around, going to thrift stores during garage sale season, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm pretty much out all day, and it was like just starting to kick back up the weekend sales. Um, so I don't know. I feel like for me, like for my business model, I like to spend more time sourcing and finding, I guess, like higher dollar items, so I can list less. That's my excuse for listing less. I'm like, okay, like if I list an $80 item, that's equivalent to eight $10 items. So
Yeah.
that's like my justification for spending more time, looking for stuff. But yeah, so I mean I have a lot of items that are like in the $15 to $20 range, which I've been putting off. So I've been listing a lot of that the past, this week pretty much. So I think it's a good opportunity for me to catch up, but I just don't know. Like once I run out of items to list, I have no idea.
Okay. By the
How about
way,
you?
shout out to One Thread at a Time. Thank you so much for the super
Oh,
chat.
wow,
yeah. I think that was a couple minutes ago, but just wanted to highlight that. So that's very sweet of you. And full-time, part-time. Yeah. I think in general, resellers just, if they have common sense, if they have things to share, mistakes that they've made, and they want to share how they learned from it, I think it doesn't matter if you're full-time or part-time. I'm still full-time. Josh is still full-time. I think we're both just in that very and you nailed it how you said it in your video today. Uncertain times bring uncertainty to you, or you said it in some way, but
yeah,
I think
something along that. I don't even remember.
yeah, but it's exactly how I feel. Is like, I know we're all feeling very uncertain, but that means you're probably going to feel uncertain about your life choices.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all right, so let's see. Messy Hair Chronicles, since you both are passionate about the business, have you ever thought about scaling the business rather than looking for other jobs, i.e. Amazon, hiring help, wholesale, etc.? That's a really great question. I'm going to let you start with that.
Yeah, I've thought about it. So tomorrow I'm interviewing. His channel is Mr. Buys a Lot. So I've been buying in bulk from him. So I like my most recent purchase from him was like a barrel of remotes. And he has an insane operation. He has 2 warehouses. I think he has like 6 listers. He has a warehouse manager that does like day-to-day operations, and he focuses on the sourcing. So I'm looking forward to just like picking his brain, because I mean, 2 warehouses and multiple employees doesn't happen overnight. It's something you build up over time. So I'm excited to kind of pick his brain. So, I mean, I'm pretty content doing this by myself right now, but I also know that if I want to scale it, I do need to outsource certain things. I think so sourcing is by far my favorite thing about reselling. It's kind of like what keeps me going. So things like listing and photography, I think eventually I'll look at like outsourcing that and getting help. But right now, at least within like the next year or two, I'm gonna like push the limits of what I'm capable of doing by myself before because having employees, that's just a completely different, that's like a completely different thing than doing it by yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I could go off. I can make a whole video on this, and I think I've chimed in on this topic. I tried hiring someone just because they were looking for work, and I wasn't really ready. So my background, I've had to manage a lot of multiple teams and multiple people, and I think at one point I had 5 teams of about 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
And there is so much greatness that can come out of managing people, but I also don't know if I want to go back to that quite so soon. So, yeah, I think it's a great question. And as far as adding Amazon, it's definitely on my mind, 100%. So stay tuned, because if I do it, I will definitely keep you guys posted. Hiring an employee and have like kind of scaling past myself, then I feel like I would need to focus more of the attention that I'm doing right now on just managing people. And if I were gonna do that, I would probably go from 0 people to 4 people or something where it actually makes sense and I can kind of go all in. But also another super chat, you guys, no need. We just want to hang out with everyone. But Floppy Bob, Floppy Bob, you are incredible in so many different ways. Your comments brighten my day all the time. So let me highlight this. I actually don't use this stuff very often, so I don't know if you guys can see. I think it's showing maybe, but I have no death pile. Any suggestions on how to source in the next few weeks? Love you guys, and thank you for taking the time to go live. So do you have any suggestions on sourcing without leaving your house?
Yeah, so I mean, I've done this in the past successfully, like online arbitrage. So looking at different platforms. I'm not going to tell you like the brands and stuff that I look for, but I've sourced from Poshmark and resold it on eBay. So I'll shop, I'll search certain stuff and then shop people's closet and create bundles, and then especially people who have like buy 3 get 20% off, something along that line. I'll shop like those closets for certain things that are underpriced on Poshmark that I know are going to sell for more on eBay. And there's multiple platforms. There's Mercari, Etsy, eBay, Poshmark. If you sell on Poshmark, you could probably find stuff. Like when I list women's clothing on eBay, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm probably undervaluing a lot of stuff. So I don't have a lot of women's clothing, but when I do list it, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm pretty sure I'm undervaluing a lot of it. So there's opportunity out there. I mean, you have the time now to kind of scroll through all these different platforms and shop. So I mean, that's something that I've done in the past, and I'm like looking at doing a little bit here too.
Yeah, and I mean, to kind of go further with that, Rock and Roll Rebel just said definitely on online arbitrage.
Yeah.
Online retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. So there might be stores and companies closing. They might be holding sales. I think as much as we're small businesses, a lot of us, and I don't know how to make this stuff go away. So if you guys can still see the comment, I know this is all very new. I used this once, but I don't think I ever highlighted the comments. So, we'll try and figure this out.
We'll roll with it. We'll roll with it.
Yeah, that comment might just be up forever because I might just give up at some point on how to make it go away. Anyway, so yeah, I think retail arbitrage, aka online arbitrage, I think a lot of people are looking at, but there also means that's going to be a lot of competition, and there's a lot of people that already do that, and it's not a bad thing. It just means that they might have a little bit of a better sense to how it works. Okay, I think I figured out how to hide.
Nice, it's gone.
Okay, we should just celebrate. If you have any wine, just drink every time I make some correct move. Okay, so let's see if there's any other thrift addict. Today I watched a video where someone donated directly to her because their Goodwills are closed. She got some stuff to sell that way, so maybe ask around and offer a porch pickup. 100% really glad you brought this up. Josh, are you thinking about doing this? Because I've definitely thought about it.
I'm looking at like all options. I've never thought about it, but I'm thinking about it now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I thrift addict. I don't know if we maybe saw the same person. I don't know if it was a video or if it was an Instagram post that I saw, but I think the suggestion is definitely there and great for many reasons. But Canine Thrifter, I will get to you in a second.
Yes, yeah, keep sending
them. But yeah, so for me, I live in a very rural, small area, small town. We don't have a Goodwill. We don't have a Salvation Army. We have like a couple like very small mom pop shop thrift stores. And so what I'm thinking is actually sending just on my personal Facebook to my friends, hey guys, if you're doing any spring cleaning, I don't have too much room to store stuff, but I do have a shed with a little bit of room. So I think that might be something where I at least offer to take their clothing and then put aside anything I don't want to sell for whatever reason, donate that when I can donate it in the future, and then, possibly list anything that might be worth listing. And I don't want to put the work into something that I don't think will ever sell, but I think it's a great option. And I think a lot of us might need to go that route.
Yeah,
so
that's a really good idea, actually. Like put a Facebook ad saying like, if you're looking to, declutter while you're at home cleaning right now, instead of just putting it out on the curb for the trash, you can donate it, and I'll sort through it and donate it when the time is right, and all the Goodwills open back up.
Yeah,
kind of like triggers something too. Like, I know there are apps like TaskRabbit out there too, where people are. I think I heard, people doing this before, like TaskRabbit, where you'll just put ads on there as well. It's just like, I don't know. That's a really good idea though.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could use multiple, whether it be Facebook or go out to the general public. I probably would start with friends and family first to not get overwhelmed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then if that's successful, or depending on how long this lasts, but yeah. All right, Canine Thrifter. Thank you. If you guys don't know, Canine Thrifter has an eBay store, and you can just search. I think it's just Canine Thrifter. Anyways, and every dollar that goes from his eBay store sales goes back to his dog rescue. And if you guys don't see this dog back here, I have a thing for animals. So he's actually got a rescue that is awesome. So thank you for the donation for your mac and cheese fund. Thank you. I'm not going grocery shopping. So when I go grocery shopping, maybe online, I will buy some mac and cheese, because that is my favorite. With resellers around the world going into lockdown situations, do you feel you are someone that people look up to help them get through the uncertain times? How do you feel about that, Josh?
Yeah, that's in terms of like us creating videos on YouTube. I think that's kind of what the questions leading towards. It's kind of a weird feeling, like the whole YouTube thing for me. Like, it took me a long time to label myself as a YouTuber. I think I almost didn't want it. Like, I was like, I don't want to be called a YouTuber. Like, stop calling me that. It took me a while to accept that, like the social influencer. But I've never really like my intentions for my channel was never to be like a subject matter expert and teach people. It's always been just like documenting like the behind the scenes as much as I can for my reselling business. So I feel like today's video, like, definitely not a good source of motivation. The video that I put out today, I feel like I'm getting motivated more from like the people watching the videos. But just like reading through the comments from the video I put out today, I think a lot of people are going to be watching reselling content to get through. No one knows how this is going to pan out. No one knows if this is going to be weeks or if it's going to be months, if it's going to be until 2021. No one really knows for sure. There's like a lot of theories, but it's hard to say. But I think, I don't know, I'm just going to be speaking my mind, I guess, on my videos, and just I don't know how people are going to take it.
Well, Rock and Roll Rebel just said, and I 100% agree, that what you put out today was honest. And I think you're going to see more honest content from people on YouTube, because I know for myself, I'm not usually putting out daily content, and I put a little more thought into what I'm putting up. But now I just feel like it's my, I mean, if it helps anyone, and I know I've gotten comments on my vlog channel, because that's just a random, just not reselling related, but just random, and people feel like they can just kind of escape their life. For me, I've been watching a lot more reseller content, not because I want reselling tips, but because I want to be more involved with the community at this time. Like, yeah. I'm FaceTiming more with my family. I'm FaceTiming and sending videos more to my friends than usual. And then on top of that, I'm also wanting to be more connected to the reselling community, and not for any other reason than just to be kind of selfish and just feel like there's other people that are going through what I'm going through. And so if we can help other people escape, and I know for me, the news can be really invaluable right now and really important. I just have the news alerts turned on where I get the text message, and then I just try, and I'm failing certain moments, and then I catch myself, but I just try and stay off the news. And reselling content is giving me an excuse, an outlet, an escape to be away from the news. And by the way, if you can hear my dog chewing, I gave her a bone so she would stop bothering me, because It's like a small person. Okay, so let's see if there are any. I swear. Let's see if there are any other questions. Let's see. Kelly, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Pecune? If that's how you pronounce it, that's actually kind of fun to say. I've been totally taking a deep dive into the reselling community this week. Yeah. So I know a lot of people have been posting on Instagram how they can help other resellers or even small businesses. So maybe just leaving a Yelp review for a small business in your community. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes 2 seconds. And it might not help them in this exact moment, but when they are back up and running, that positive review might lead someone to get into the restaurant or whatever business. And as far as resellers, not everyone's on YouTube, so you can't watch everyone on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recommend going and necessarily buying from people because I think we're all very unsure of what's going on. I also would not, I don't know. What are your thoughts on buying mystery boxes or inventory from other resellers who might be trying to pass off stuff at this moment?
I think if it's done right, it's good. I know, like the guy I'm having on tomorrow, he's looking to try to help other people out who are typically, go to the thrift store every single day, bring back home like 5 to 6 items and get that listed, rinse and repeat. I know I bought from him before, so I trust him as a person. He's always giving me really good prices, and just the connections he has. He has way more inventory. Like, that's why I shared him on my channel. Like, I don't care about, disclosing a private source, because I've seen, like, personally how much stuff he has. I think if it's done right, it'll be good for everyone, especially the people who don't have inventory to list in, coming the next few weeks. But I don't know, mystery boxes, they're kind of a tricky thing. It's because there's a proponent of where there are buyers who aren't going to be happy. I think that's going to be inevitable. Especially when you're selling, that mass quantity of stuff. It's hard to catch every single flaw and disclose everything. But I think as long as the seller and the buyer, they understand that it's not going to be a perfect thing, I think it could work out. And I'm actually, like, really glad to see that people, I've seen a little bit of what you mentioned on Instagram as well, like people posting things like that. So I think it could work if it's done right.
Yeah, I've never really bought really many mystery boxes. I tried it out. I realized it wasn't for me because I don't like to disappoint people. And so it's not something I would go down. And I think if you know a source and you bought from that source before, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's totally safe. If it's someone new and there's a little bit of desperation of just getting product, I probably wouldn't try something new at this time because I think there's a lot of uncertainty. But Resell Secrets just said, I'm sorry if I ever judged anyone's death file. Wish I had one. 100% agree, because I got rid of my death file because I was trying to do the right thing, and I have some stuff to list. I went sourcing last week and kind of bulked up, but yeah. So, all right, let's see if there's any other questions. So the title of this video was if we're going to stay full time. I know I'm very lucky that I have some work experience on my LinkedIn. I do think that this job very much applies to other jobs. And I am staying full time at the moment, but I think it's just a really tough time. Like I know a lot of people say, go to the resellers who have been through a recession before and see what happened, like see what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is exactly like 2008 for many different reasons. And so I even those resellers might not know exactly what's going to happen moving forward. And so I think keeping the options open, staying connected with people is crucial, in my opinion, just for keeping your spirits up. But yeah, and I know a lot of people are doing more lives right now. For me, again, Josh, you're just an excuse to, like, we can chit chat. Like, we're
right, yeah.
We're just hanging out, and there's awesome people in the chat. So, Thrift Addict said if her inventory gets low, she might consider a ThredUp box. I've done a lot of ThredUp boxes, not recently or in quite some time, but it's a risk, but there's potential that you could get some stuff to resell. And at this point, if you have no inventory, listing some stuff that might sell for $10 is better than not listing at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. But I think you could also source from your house before, or maybe asking friends and family and doing a porch pickup.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going out as often, you don't need as much clothing.
Exactly.
You just buy it back later when things get better.
But I also think people right now need retail therapy. And so as much as sales might go down and have gone down for many people, it's just, I think people are always going to want to shop, and they're going to always want good deals. And so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I think it'll balance out. There's definitely two crowds of people. There's the people who, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and there are people who, like a waiter at a restaurant, even if their restaurant is being very generous and giving them the paycheck they would have, like half their other income was off of tips. So I think there's going to be a crowd of people who are extremely frugal, but I think it'll balance out with the people who, despite everything that's going on, they'll still have play money and disposable income, despite the current situation. So those people at home, I think, will go on a rampage in terms of like online shopping. So I don't know. It's always hard to predict what's going to happen, but hopefully that kind of balances out.
Yeah, I agree. Also, it's a good time to get deals, I think, because I think more companies and more resellers are more likely to maybe take something a little bit less. So, and I think a lot of people are realizing that, but yeah, it looks like people in the chat are saying their sales have dropped. I think it's always going to be kind of up and down, but we don't really know if this is just a down or if it's just going to keep going. Like, it's hard to tell. I'm trying not to stress too much, but yeah. And if you don't have any inventory, relist. I've never been a big advocate for relisting because I don't want to spend time on something that's been sitting for a year and a half and hasn't sold. However, now's that time. Test out that theory. List it at 50% of what you had it listed for, and maybe it'll sell quickly, or 25% of what you had it listed for, and see if that makes a difference. But yeah, taking lower offers. Yeah, absolutely. You got 300 coloring books. This is, I guess I could blow this up. I just have to get used to actually being more interactive with this. But I had 300 coloring books with pen sets sitting in my death pile and starting listing and can't list fast enough. It's crazy. Oh, so does that mean that you're actually selling it? Because I've heard actually quite a few people are saying if you have puzzles or things like activities at home, that those are doing really well. So if you have something in a closet and you opened it Christmas 3 years ago, sell it. Like, you're probably not going to use it. Now's the time. Lori said she's trying to connect with buyers. Let's see if I can scroll up. The chat's going too quick. Sorry, guys. So she's trying to connect with potential buyers, creating bundles and starting conversation, and definitely accepting lower offers. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to accept something that's like, things will pick up again. And I don't want to just kind of move everything for $2. Like that's the panic mode of reselling that I don't think is appropriate right now.
Right. Yeah.
So your items still have value, in my opinion. But if you never took an offer less than 30%, could you take that offer for 40% off? Like, that might be a good time to test this theory. Right.
Yeah. Totally agree with that.
So, and the interacting with people, do you interact much with customers? Do you like that?
I like, you're talking about like random messages that people will send and stuff like that. I try to be as responsive as possible, but I'll selectively ignore messages if it's just like a ridiculous question or I don't know. I've gotten like people will buy things on Friday and I don't ship on Saturdays typically. So like Saturday evening and Sunday, they'll just keep sending me messages like, when is this being shipped out? Have you shipped this yet? I need a tracking number ASAP. And of course, all of that's in all caps, so I can't tell if he's yelling or if caps lock is on. But like those messages, I'm like, oh man, like I don't know. Sometimes I'll send like a quick one-liner, like this is gonna get shipped out next business day. But other times I'm just like, whatever. He'll get it when he gets it.
Yeah, no, you know, I'm not the most social, and I just feel bombarded. But I can see myself being a little bit more compassionate to people. If they have questions now, then maybe I did 2 weeks ago, just because, you know, we just don't know. But
Yeah, for sure.
Canine Thrifter said, this is interesting. Oh, the thing just moved away. All right, so I think I got it. I'm selling a lot of ovulation thermometers and for disinfectant. Weird. I don't know if I should have highlighted that one. I'm not sure where we're going with this one, but that's good to know. That's good to know, Canine Thrifter. All right. Three Queens resell. You're accepting reasonable offers up until today. Oh man. Sorry, guys. It keeps going away. Technology fails. Sorry, the chat keeps moving, and so when I hover over something, all right, well, all right, guys, we've only got basically a couple more minutes. I didn't want to take too much of everyone's time today. I'm glad everyone's enjoying the ovulation thermometers. So, I mean, if you guys have access to those, apparently those are selling through the roof. But yeah, well, Josh, I'm really glad that we connect, and I'm really glad that everyone could kind of join in the chat. I am really in good spirits when I'm seeing people's lives and being a little bit more connected to the reselling community, because I feel like we are in this together, and everyone wants to help each other. So, you know, going and watching YouTube videos, I have it on the background, even on mute when I can't actually pay attention, just running. If you need to buy something online, go find someone's link to go buy it through their link, and they might get something from it. There's a lot of things that you can do, and that's not just YouTube, that's also Instagram. But I know we're all in this together, and I know that I want to be chatting with everyone at this moment, and just, you know, feeling like I'm a part of, this weird time. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd be able to make it without, you know, people like you, people in the chat. Just you like reaching out to me last minute to jump on the stream, that means like more than I think, you know. So I really appreciate like you having me on the channel.
Go follow him, Lotto Josh.
Yes.
You're going live at what time tomorrow with that guy?
It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so 5:30 p.m. my time.
Yeah.
I translate everything to my time because, you know,
I know.
West Coast is West Coast.
When we were messaging back and forth earlier, you kept putting it in Pacific, and I kept putting it in. You were like, my time.
I know. Well, Josh, thanks so much for hanging out. Guys, I will be back live on Friday. Amber resells. She has not been on YouTube much because she's been super busy with a number of different things, but she'll be able to explain that day. And Josh, I hope to chat with you again soon.
Yeah, keep in touch. I'm excited for the next stream with you and Amber.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.